Hey everybody, I'm Adrian Nelson. I am a psychic tarot reader and I wanted to speak to you about your life purpose. A lot of people's been coming to me lately, more than before, asking about their life purpose. What is my life purpose? Why am I here? What is the point of my life? You know? And the thing to understand is that your life purpose is not as straightforward as a lot of people believe it to be. When we are born, or rather before we are born, we set up this life plan or a soul plan really for our life, that like what we're going to have in this life. And it's almost like, I like the way that it is compared in conversations with God. It's compared. I'm not sure which one of them it is, but I think it's the first one with Neil Donald Walsh, where it's explained that your life or your life purpose is like a video game, or what might maybe be a little bit more relatable these days is like an online game basically. You go this way, that happens. You go that way, that happens. And you go that way, it unlocks this and that. But everything's already built in there. You go certain directions, you like it. You go another direction, you don't like it. Even with dying, we have got multiple exit points. So yes, you are destined to die at a certain time, but there is more than one destination. You know what I'm saying? You know? And your choices determine your experience of life. So when we speak about your life purpose, it is all very set out already, but there's a lot of leeway in that. I think a lot of times we have this idea that we are born with this sort of bullet points that we have to follow, and if we follow them, fantastic. And if we don't follow them, ooh, bad stuff. It's really not that cut and dry. We have got a lot of say over how you experience your life because it's your life. You chose to come into this life. You chose to come and have this human experience. You chose the possibilities within that human experience, the possibilities of that life path. And I think the most important thing to understand is that you are the one that gets to decide how you have your experience of life. You even get to understand how long you have your experience of life. And let's not look at it in a spiritual way. Let's look at it in a more practical, everyday, more relatable sort of way. One moment, please. So, thank you. Um, so think of it like this. You are born this healthy person. Or let's say there are two people. They are born very healthy people. And so the one person decides to follow a healthier way of living. So maybe they look at not just their physical health, but do exercise, look at nutrition, enough sleep, hydration, exercise, that type of things. But they also look at their mindset. They look at their mental state. They look at their emotional state, and they take care of that. They take care of themselves. They take regular time off. They don't just spend a whole lot of time looking at like a television or anything like that. And then you get the other person that does the direct opposite of that. They live on the soft drinks and the takeaways and the Netflix and all those type of things. Who do you think is going to have the better chance of a longer life and a better experience of life? We have a lot of control over how long we live and how we live. And, life is such a beautiful gift. And it's such a precious gift. And whether you're on this planet for only 18 years or 85 years, you don't have that much time. And what I always explain to people when they ask me, what is my life purpose? I'll ask them, what would you like your life to be? What are your goals for your life? What is and I used to think that this is the most stupid question, and when somebody asked me this in an interview, it's like I wanted to throw something at them. But what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 20 years' time? If you are 25 years old, chances are very good that in 20 years you're still going to be alive. But the choices that you make now directly determines how you experience those choices going forward. And whilst life in itself, because life is an energy in itself, a living being in itself, that has its own sort of karma and experience and stuff, while that can take its own direction, You get to really decide how you experience that direction. Let's take something like COVID that just, that sort of really recently happened, and in some ways it's still happening. If you have been taking very good care of yourself, now this is by no means like that's definitely how it is, but just stay with me. So COVID is basically a virus, and who do you think has got a better chance to have a better relationship with COVID? The person who has not been taking care of themselves, the McDonald's and the Netflix and the Coca-Cola person, or the person that has been, more looking into what are my daily nutritional needs, and then really actively focused on getting that for themselves. So when you look at that, you really get to see how much dominion you have over your experience of life, Sorry, another thing that happens sometimes, we forget that you only have this one body in this life. Especially when we start to look at spirituality. Sorry, my throat's a bit dry. I just finished all the readings for your weekly zodiac readings for life purpose, but I sort of want to explain it just a little bit. I wanted to make this video for you also. Sorry, but you, and now I obviously lost my point, but you are the one that gets to decide how you live your life. And at the end of the day, it always comes back to you. If you go see a doctor, that's what they're going to explain to you. If you're going to maybe go see like a psychiatrist, they may explain that to you as well, and they will say to you, these are your options. And speaking of that, I was getting to spirituality, sorry. Sorry, but speaking of that, a lot of times we've got this idea that if you live the spiritual life, that you shouldn't have mental health issues, you shouldn't have physical health issues, because you are so enlightened, you are so love and light. But you're still a human being. And when you just turn the clock down, even less than 100 years back, some of the things that the medical field can do right now would have been seen as absolute miracles back then. You were responsible for your life, and you want to take responsibility for it. And if you're ever going to come to me for like life coaching or tarot reading or whatever, I actually call it tarot life coaching. I'm going to have that conversation with you. Because a lot of times you just want to know, well, what is the universe saying? And in that sense, you sort of already put a separation between yourself and the universe, because you forget that you are the universe, And the thing that I wanted to say earlier on that I wanted to mention, I'm going to keep this relatively short. I'm going to wrap it up very soon. One, because my throat is shot, and two, because my battery on my laptop's about to run out. But a lot of times we get into the spiritual thing that I'm spiritual now, nothing is real, my body's real, I'm not going to care, and whatever. I'm just going to do whatever. But you chose to come into this experience of life. And the biggest thing to remember before you try to be all love and light and connect to this being and that being, and I've been whatever priestess in Atlantis and so forth and so forth and so forth. And I mean, those are really great things. I mean, I'm a regression hypnosis practitioner. I specialize in past life regression. Those things are amazing. But the thing that we sometimes forget is that you are here right now in your consciousness now. And this is your deciding moment in your life. This is the golden moment. The magic that we seek is in the here and the now. We can sort of like get a lot of guidance from the past, but also remember that time doesn't exist. You're living here right now. So one of the most spiritual things that I always explain to people especially when I teach things like, say, maybe like psychic development, for example, or like the main chakras, or like stuff like that, Reiki and whatever. I will say to you that, and crystal healing especially, if the only thing that you really do is celebrate being you, being human, being here, being now on this planet Earth, you don't even worry about all the other things. Just be here, just be human, celebrate being human. Everything will go perfectly for you. So I just want to end off by reminding you that when it comes to your life purpose, yes, you can do a tarot reading because it's going to let you know how you are and how you're going, how you're flowing. But the main ingredient in your life is you, right here, right now, as a human being. Don't forget that. Namaste.